question for you, because you deal with a lot of people out in them streets, and I feel like this was a movement of disgruntled, fragile men. So like it was who because they have these conferences, they call them alpha male conferences.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you got it's like, if I got to tell you I'm a good person, there's a question mark there. If I have to tell someone, if you have to tell me you're an alpha male, what does that mean? Like, you're not an alpha male if you have to keep telling people that's what you are. So I feel like, and I feel like there's a Joe Rogan type that they idolize. And before him, and I'm gonna say this, y'all can at me because I know he's part of this family, Sirius XM family. Before him, it was like a Howard Stern type. And I'm like, Howard Stern to me was the exact opposite of anything of what it means to be a man to me. Not even down to his, and I'm not
he
gonna...
said that. He would say, he's talking about how small his member was, that he couldn't he constantly was self-deprecating.
So why was he such an attraction to these type? And I feel like those are the same type of people who stormed the Capitol, who grew up on Howard Stern, loved him, who now look at Joe Rogan, put him on a pedestal because he can do horse ivermectin and beat COVID because he's tough. But back to the original question. And I feel like leading the charge in this country on all fronts, even in Congress, are these folk like Jim Jordan, Matt Gaetz, people who were losers, who in school, who you would throw in a lot. And I'm not saying I've ever done this, but if you would throw in a locker room, who you would give a wedgie to, like a wedgie, and pull it all the way around, but they have now a modicum of power. Trump, who's got probably yellow and brown stains in his underwear, would never would never in real life. No. Without the millions, be able to have any game, period.
Right.
Yet you got to be president of the United States, and people followed you. 71 million people voted for you on this thing. And I'm like, I was just having this conversation today with somebody too. I was like, what's weird? And I want to talk about this. That people who get to lead, like Hitler, for example. Hitler, who was a twerp, yes, who didn't look Aryan, master race. Y'all following this guy, and y'all talk about a master race, but that's your leader. Look at him.
Yeah.
Oh my God! And then Napoleon with his little ass. How? I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand how these people rise to power and people follow them when they aren't really leadership, manly, or whatever we call manly. Oh my gosh. Help me understand this, Dante.
All right, so first, there's a bunch of things about what you said. You know that I was intricately involved with the Proud Boys.
I did not know this.
You really?
You were a Proud Boy?
I was a founder of the Proud Boys before you did not know this?
No, why just find it out that you were a Proud Boy?
That's what everybody said. I'll tell you what happened was I was doing my relationship stuff. I knew Gavin McInnes. I went on his show as we went on. I didn't know who he was. I went on a lot of people's shows, and I figured he'd be good because he had all these, these little soft, twerpy guys who listened to him, and that whole idea of white grievance. I went on and I was talking about authenticity, credibility, my mantra, ACE, and they would call me up. They gave me the moniker of Pope of the Proud Boys. This was before the whole thing, before it was like, I should just go on there. And the whole no wanks thing, where they don't masturbate, that was me. I said that I was 50-something years old, and I stopped watching porn, and I stopped masturbating because I felt that it desensitizes you to real intimate relationships. He goes, him and I had a bet. Me and Gavin McInnes, Gavin McInnes was the beginning guy.
Yes.
Who started Vice TV.
So weird.
And he every time I went on the show 16 times, every time I came on the show, they kept developing this. He called it the Proud Boys. He gave the 3 degrees where you get punched while you're trying to say breakfast cereals. The no wanks was one principle. Then they had a song, then he had a bell, and it just kept developing. It was really, honestly, it was a joke. But it was all these twerps and all these nerds and all these dudes with no game who found a place to be a part of something. And then they all were, they're all nerds. They're all great with a website. So they had the most elaborate websites and chat rooms and all kinds of stuff. And it started to grow. And then I found out all the racist stuff. They had a private Facebook page. I found out about the racist stuff, and I was like to Gavin, yo, what's up with this N-word stuff? And he was like, he actually put a letter out denouncing people using the N-word and racist, but he was talking out of both sides of his face, because when I was on there, they wasn't dropping no M-bombs and no, in fact, he's on my, if you go to my
that's podcast, how you know that they're not about that life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because if you really about that life, do it when Dante's there. I dare you.
I also had him on my podcast, and he started talking about welfare queens, and I spanked him. We debated on, and I spanked him. I go, I told him, you don't even have the emotional or intellectual acuity to talk about. You don't even have the historical reference to talk about this. I said, Ronald Reagan, biggest drug dealer in the history of the country. And I start rattling on Jim Crow.
And that welfare queen was white.
Right?
She was white.
And I talked about the Homestead Act and the Home Act, giving white folks, just on and on. And he was like, oh, I did not know that. But what happened was I actually went on live. I did live meet and greets with the Proud Boys. And then it kept getting more and more racist. And I just started distancing myself. And then the next thing I knew, I had the Proud Boy tattoo on my neck.
What?
Because I mean, I had a tattoo.
All right. Somebody said that you told this story last year, but I don't have a memory, which is why, whatever.
But here's what
Smith doesn't remember it either. So you must have told it on somebody else's show. But so where was the Proud Boy tattoo on your neck? Where was it?
It was under Tahuti, the guy.
Tahuti, okay. Right. So you tattooed over it. Okay.
I covered it up. So, but I have removed from it, and then I got a call from the This American Life podcast, that huge podcast. They interviewed me because the Charlottesville, I didn't even know that the guy, not Richard Spencer, the other one, the one that they punched in the face.
That was Richard Spencer got punched in the face.
No, it was there's another dude. He was
a bunch of them got punched in the face. Okay.
He was a Proud Boy guy. He organized the Unite the Right things. Richard Spencer jumped.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Then they came to my house and interviewed and told me that Heather Heyer had died basically from the thing that I helped start. And then right after that, I got the tattoo removed. Then I had the FBI come to my house. They wanted me to go back in on some Black Klansmen. I was like, I'm not doing that. But
Jason Kessler, was he the one that got punched?
Jason Kessler. So the thing is, they're really beta males. Beta, and there's a new classification: alphas, betas, there's gammas, and then there's sigmas. And what first of all, the whole idea of alpha male that's a fraudulent understanding. The person who looked at that and called it alpha males were looking at wolves, and the wolves that they were observing really was the mother and the children, and so they didn't even have that right. But I still believe there's a concept of these. But the thing about what I've learned through time is alpha males have to be in control. They're overbearing. They're boisterous. They have to be. They can't ever. But to me, that is a form of insecurity.
Weakness? Yeah,
because if you know that somebody's better than you at what they do, you should understand that and be able to recognize that, and then step out of the way so that if the task is most important, you should have the confidence to step aside. I mean, you've been broadcasting forever. So there's no way I would come on here and not follow your lead. I have to be, I got to be the Robin, because I just don't have the experience, and the thing is with alpha males, it's they need to be in charge. And then what they do is they take these people who are alpha male, who they perceive as alpha males, which is basically another level of insecurity. They follow those guys, but you reel a beta. Do you remember the guy? I don't know if you saw the video, but there was a guy who the Black Lives Matter started getting in his butt, and he was down with the Proud Boys. And he was like, I quit, took his shirt off because he didn't want none of the smoke. So what happens to all of these people? They're really beta, but they're trying to, in the group setting.
Right. Well, if you're not a leader, if you can only be strong in a pack, right? To me, like that's how I feel. 866-801-8255. And all this talk about lions. Those lions that are out hunting, those are the women.
Yes.
Those are the women. Yes, they roll in packs, but those are the women that go out and actually get the food.
The lion steps back because he knows he's too big, he's too heavy, it's so Sigma male, which is the person who understands, is so confident in himself that he knows that, okay, you do this better than me. Well, go ahead, step up and do it. And it's comfortable without being insecure in that. So these are all beta dudes. This was all 20, but I keep saying that this whole thing is this white grievance comes from the scope of Reaganomics, has gone so far now that it's affecting white folks. See, it's always affected us, but now when you're 26, you could be punk rock with a purple mark, you shave it off, grow your hair and put a suit on, and then you could get a job. If you couldn't get a job, you could work sanitation, you could work this. They all in the police force, all these scared ass,
right. They go where they can get some courage because they got a gun in the back.
And they go, the engagement is supposed to be verbal, physical, nightstick, stun gun, or pepper spray, stun gun, and then gun. But they're so scared they go right for the gun because they're afraid of the escalating aggression.
And they don't have any skills. They don't have any skills to de-escalate. No. So this is scary. So you're saying something, because you're right. The preponderance of these people in police forces across this country, because they gravitate towards that. The preponderance of them in our military, because they gravitate to places because they're so weak and so small,
that groupthink,
so insecure that they need that courage to be, I have a gun, I have a badge, I have power, I'm trained, and now I'm ready. It's like,
but you don't really want to
how do I better myself to be a better citizen and to create a more.
He also union. Was in Rand Paul. He was deeply instilled in Rand Paul's political. Not Rand Paul.
Ron, his father, the doctor.
Father. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was deeply steeped into that.
Well, we'll see. I hope a lot of these guys go to jail where they can really see
what kind of smoke? What you got?
Well, we saw it with the shaman. He was like, I need a special diet. I can't eat this prison food. Wait a minute. I need my binky and my pillow, my special pillow. And I didn't know that the storm of the Capitol went defecating inside there. I didn't know that I was gonna get in trouble because I'm white. I'm a white man. How did this happen? Yeah.
Yeah, but they'll jump in with the Aryans, and they'll and get popped by the Aryans, and find their place, give up the booty.
Are there enough Aryans in jail to protect people?
Well, there'll be more now because they're all from
I see.
They're gonna be able to recruit.
Facts.